What's going on? Born for Sports. We have come to another week of some New York Giants off-season talk. Now, we're at that part of the season, of the off-season, I should say, that is full speed ahead to the NFL draft next month. As free agency has now basically come and go. Now, yes, there is going to be some moves here and there that you'll hear about, and you'll be like, interesting. But the big fish are all gone. Every team in the offseason basically knows what their plans going forward are going to be, how they're going to attack the NFL draft when they have their chances to pick their players. And the old saying goes, you don't want to shop hungry, but you don't want to draft for need either. You got to find a balance of doing what you do in the offseason first with free agency that leads to the draft. And now the Giants know what they must do. They know the biggest thing is they have to find their future franchise quarterback. We'll see going forward if they are going to have their chance to do it. But I'm here to talk about the free agency moves they have made. And I think Joe Schoen is having a solid offseason so far as free agency. Now, let's talk about it. As I'm going to give you guys, in my opinion, the free agency grades that I have that they have made, okay, so far to start this offseason. And I think Joe Schoen is off to a solid start. And number 5 move addressing the O-line depth with Stone Forsythe, James Hudson, and GVR. Listen, we all know the story. If you watch the New York Giants the last 7 years, you know this O-line has been a terrible unit for most of it. But last year, I thought they actually did a pretty solid job, okay, when they were healthy and as a whole unit getting better week to week to week, okay? Hey, Andrew Thomas got hurt for the second straight year, and it just torpedoed everything, you know, as far as the continuity with the offense and the O-line. And without that, without an O-line, you ain't going to score. And that was a big deal why the Giants, one of the reasons why the Giants were so bad, along with their quarterback play. But listen, Forsythe, he brings depth to the tackle position, has experience starting with the Seattle Seahawks. Solid move, I thought, having him as the backup. James Hudson, listen, swing tackle. Giants, big mistake the last couple of years. They were relying on players that had no experience playing tackle being swing tackle options. And that was a big, big problem. Big problem. We all know that they have really had problems protecting the quarterback and opening holes, especially protecting the quarterback. But, hey, you got to have depth, man. And that was a big problem. The Giants did not address that the last offseason in free agency. They tried to, make players that play guard play tackle and save money and whatever the logic was. It was a bad mistake. So good job by Joe Schoen doing that. GVR, Greg Van Roten. As I mentioned, I thought he was pretty solid for this team when he came aboard. He signed him a little before training camp started, and he ended up starting at right guard. And I thought he played pretty good based on what we were expecting from him, man. I would prefer him, though, as a backup. I think he will be a fantastic backup guard, as he can play either position in left or right. But let's see if Joe Schoen addresses it in free agency going forward. The cupboard is kind of bare now with the good options and also the draft going forward. But, yes, I like bringing GVR back on a one-year deal. Good move by Joe Schoen doing that. My number 4 best upgrade at free agency, in my opinion. Now, you guys know me when it comes to O-line and D-line. Point of attack, that's what I'm about. The big guys up front on both sides of the ball. Now, D-line upgrade, I love this move. Chauncey Golston, I think, is going to be an underrated signing. 56 tackles, 5.5 sacks, 5 passes defense, 5 tackles for loss, and a career-high 13 starts. So that shows you there's still some meat on the bone for this guy to get better as a ball player, man. And I got Chris Caney vibes because you know what? Anytime you can hurt a division rival and bring in one of their best players to help you win games, especially the Dallas Cowboys, man. Listen, in 2010, they did the similar move by bringing Chris Canty, and it really helped. It really helped the move. It really helped this D line, add to what they have, man. So I like this move.
I love it.
I really do. I really like this move, man. I think he's gonna really help this team going forward. He brings versatility, and don't be surprised if you see him in a Justin Tuck type of role with rushing some packages in the interior line. He did some of that for the Dallas Cowboys. I can see him doing that with Burns and Tibbs on the edge with Dex up front. Hey, let's see if Mr. Bowen can actually use his players in the right way and use those guys like that. Because there was a time when I thought when Mr. Bowen actually was adjusting his schemes and having us blitz more, there was a time when the Giants were leading the league in sacks. And inexplicably, he went away from it later on. I don't know what he did, why it went that way, but he did. So let's hope this helps the team. I like this move. Solid move, I thought, by Joe Schoen, man. And my number 3, listen, I'm not here to, as you guys know, I am not here to tell you the Giants making these moves solve their franchise quarterback puzzle. I'm not here to tell you that. No, I'm not. But what I am here to tell you, they also were in the signing veteran quarterback market. And the context of this move with the quarterback market on the vet side, this was an A-plus move for the Giants. Only $10.5 million on a one-year deal for Russell Wilson and only $4 million for Winston. Now, listen, Russell Wilson is not a franchise quarterback. He's not the same quarterback he was in Seattle, but he's still a solid veteran backup, a solid veteran quarterback option, whether it's backup or starting. He helped that good Pittsburgh Steelers team get to the playoffs. Now, I'm not saying he took them to the playoffs. He helped them get to the playoffs. But nonetheless, he did what he was supposed to do. Now, he faltered late in the season, but at the end of the day, he did a good job for that team. He really did. And to get him, along with Jameis Winston, allocating finances of your salary cap to only $14.5 million for 2 veteran starters with two veteran quarterbacks with starter experience, man. Shout out to Joe Schoen, man. I got to give him respect on that. That is not an easy thing to do there, to do that. So, hey, let's see what we do next month as far as the franchise quarterback long-term puzzle. But for what the market is and for what the context of the player the Giants were looking for, a veteran quarterback to help this team, solid move by Mr. Joe Schoen. I have to give him credit on that. Now, my number 2 move, Bullhawk, Paulson Adebo, 3-year deal. He led the league the last 2 seasons in 29 forced completions, 7 interceptions, tied for 4th in that span. Now, that one of the biggest problems with this Giant DB room last year in this defense, where were the turnovers?
I like you a lot.
This guy makes plays on the ball. He will get turnovers. He attacks the football. Okay? This is a move the Giants had to make, especially to get a number 1 corner. Now, I'm not over the moon giving them $18 million per coming off an injury last year, but it seems like a lot of teams were after him and they're not worried about it. So we'll see going forward. But the player itself, this is a good move for the New York Giants. It is. It's a good move for the New York Giants. Again, it comes down to how Bowen uses him in the scheme, but I really like this move. He is now the CB1. It also shows the Giants realized they probably made a mistake, and Deion Banks is entering bust territory. So it was an important move to make him not Deontay Banks the number 1 corner on this team. Now you move him over to CB2 and you see if we can get something out of him out that. And this is basically going to be his last chance in that DB room to see if he can become the player that the Giants think he can be. So good move by Joe Schoen making that move. I really do. I like this move, and hopefully that means more turnovers for this defense. Now, my number 1 offseason move, my number 1 versatile DB baller. Now, I'm going to tell you guys something right now. Safety Javon Holland, 3 years, $45.3 million, man. Listen, I did not see this move coming. I did not think the Giants were targeting this position in free agency as safety, especially after what happened with McKinney last year. But I'm so glad they did because this man can play ball. He giving me Antrell Roll vibes, y'all, for real. Yes, sir. I love this move. He had a 91.3 career coverage grade, 55th amongst safeties since 2021 with the Miami Dolphins. This guy can play. He can come up to the line. He'll hit you. He'll stop the run. He's out there making plays on the ball in the secondary. A lot of times I saw a lot of quarterbacks didn't throw much of his way a lot. And I just think Javon Holland's the type of player that is going to take this DB room and this defense up a notch. And I love this move. I really do. I think this was a very good move by Joe Schoen and the New York Giants. And we have really upgraded our secondary. So now you got Holland at safety, okay? You got Adebo at CB1, 2 ball hawks in your secondary. We'll see what we get for Deontay Banks in the CB2 room. You got Andrew Phillips in the slot, one of the best cornerbacks in football last year, coverage grade-wise, in slot. Man, all of a sudden, that DB room looking real good. Shout out to Joe Schoen making that move, a move a lot of people didn't see them going after. Good job by him. So the overall grade I'm going to give for the free agency period, I'm going to give it a B-. Now, I would have given it a B+, but at the end of the day, I just feel like Joe Schoen should have probably went after the guard room a little more aggressively to find a starting right guard. Now, there was talk out there that they were really in on Freeze, the Colts. Sorry if I pronounced it wrong. Freeze from the Colts, the guard. They were in on him. A lot of reports said they were in on him to the last, but he ended up signing with Minnesota. I just felt like maybe a Tevin Jenkins or another player would have been a very good thing to bring to the offensive line, but he didn't do that. So that's the only reason why I'm giving him a B-. But other than that, I like what Joe Schoen has done. He has had a very good free agency period in the offseason, man. And Javon Holland, that acquisition really put it over the top for me. So shout out to Joe Schoen on that. Now we'll see going forward what happens in the draft next month. Giant salute to Giant Nation out there. Let me know how you feel about this video in the comments. What are your favorite moves in free agency they made? What are the moves you would have liked to see them make? And what are the moves you didn't like? Let me know how you feel. And don't forget to like and subscribe to Born for Sports. Let's go Giants.